on eating disorders.
Yeah.
Melanie is a freshman in the Scripps School of Journalism and plans on going into broadcast journalism. She also plans on advocating and sharing her story whenever the opportunity presents itself. She has spoken 3 times prior, and while she is still new and young, she hopes to grow as a public speaker so that she can educate people on these very serious diseases. Please welcome Melanie Foster.
Hi. Oh wow, am I too loud? And the mayor's here, so no pressure. But I'm Melanie Foster, as she said. I'm in Scripps, and I'm so happy that I have this opportunity to share my personal story as well as advocating for a cause I'm really passionate about. I have a table over there containing a lot more information than I can fit into this short presentation. But I'll try and shorten most of the major points, and hopefully you'll come and stop by and talk about it further. After battling depression, anxiety, OCD for many years, I fell into another challenging mental illness, eating disorders. I was officially diagnosed at the age of, can't even remember the age. Yeah, I can. 13 with multiple eating disorders, and my other diseases had become a lot more severe. I lost a lot in those years, including family, friends, a lot of events I missed out on in almost my life, all of which I have thankfully gained back. As my struggle worsened through the years, I was referred to an inpatient treatment facility in Utah called Avalon Hills Eating Disorder Treatment Facility. I went there when I was 15 and spent 6 months there battling my diseases. I have now been in partial recovery for 4 years, but continue to struggle every day, now more than ever. College was definitely a very demanding time, and it can put a huge strain on daily battles. These diseases are very complex and really underserved, which is why I choose to share my story. So hopefully people do learn more about mental illness, because a lot of people don't grasp what it actually entails. I've had the pleasure of speaking in New York City, back in Utah, and at my high school twice when I was a senior. I plan on continuing to do so. So over at my table I have handouts and other information about eating disorders. I'm happy to share more, answer any questions I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie, for your presentation. We will now have Rasha Samsu. She is a Palestinian from Jerusalem. She graduated from Birzeit University with honors majoring in journalism and minoring in sociology. She also earned a degree in flute performance from the Edward Said National Conservatory of Music. Her experiences include having worked with the United Nations in the Department of Public Information, as well as the German development organization GIZ, consulting for water union service providers, and coordinating a children's choir project. Throughout her graduate studies, she plans to develop skills that will enable her to effectively work on changing the negative stereotypes often associated with Palestinians. She has come to the Communication and Development Program through a prestigious Open Society Foundation Mural Scholarship. Please welcome Rasha.
My colleague, but unfortunately we could not be together today, so I'm going to change of plans. I'm going to perform flute and sing a little poem. It's about a love relationship between two women. The melody was composed by a friend of mine who is part of an a cappella group. I'm part of an a cappella group in Palestine, so she composed this piece, and I'm going to sing the top part of the song, the poem. The poem's about the fear of having a relationship between women. يا خوفي حزنك عزيني يا خوفي غيرك يواسيني يا خوفي حزنك عزيني يا خوفي غيرك يواسيني ولما أنا لحالي أرجع لحالي أسمع وجهك يناديني ويتك بالليل وتنهد الحيل وأنا دايرة أناجيكي يا خوفي من حزني يا خوفي من خوفي محاصرني معريني محاصرني معريني محاصرني معريني.
Thank you, Rasha, for your performance. Now we will have Anna Bekovac. Anna is a sophomore music therapy major. She works at the Women's Center and is a Margaret Boyd Scholar. Anna loves working with the elderly. Her favorite music most likely comes from the 50s, 60s, or 70s. So she will be singing Carole King today. Please welcome Anna.
Hi. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Carole King before I started, because she's such a monumental female writer and artist. She wrote "We Used to Love Me Tomorrow" when she was 17, so I'm going to sing that. She wrote a lot of really famous songs: "The Locomotion," "Up on the Roof," "I've Been Something Good," and probably the most famous, "You Make Me Feel Like an Actual Woman," Ruth Franklin, famous. And she had a successful solo career singing. Also, she's just really cool and powerful and talented. And her album Tapestry, which both of the songs that I'm going to do are from, won all 3 Grammys, Best Record, Best Song, and Album of the Year.
Thank you, Anna. Dr. Kim Little from Women, Gender and Sexuality Studies just informed me that for the first time in however many years, the Ohio women's basketball team is going to the NCAA. So we want to send out a hand there. We want to say, go Bobcats. I think that's awesome. We have had the opportunity this semester to celebrate women leaders with the women's basketball team, and it is always one of the highlights of winter semester, and we're proud of the women. They're awesome women, and it's amazing what they do in the basketball court, and we wish them good luck.
Up next, we have Cecilia Fernandez. So Cecilia is from Bolivia and came to Ohio University as a Fulbright scholar. She is on her last semester of a Master in Communication and Development Studies. Her main research interests are in the areas of women, gender and sexuality studies, health, and culture. She enjoys traveling, dancing, and learning about different cultures. Please welcome Cecilia.
Yo no quiero que tú vuelvas nunca más, yo ya no te quiero ver, si te recordar vas a llorar como yo lloré hasta ayer.
came out there and it's all in Burn. I hate it every night.
Thank you, Cecilia, for that performance. Next, we will have Colleen Carmen. Colleen is a senior studying math and French education. In the math classes that she teaches and takes, as well as her colleagues' classes that she takes, she sees inequality. It is easy to ignore these inequalities and focus on one individual goals, such as ignoring situations so long as I get an A. Colleen knows that these situations should not be ignored and hopes to bring some of these to light in her skit. Please welcome Colleen.
Hi, I'm Colleen.
I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Zach.
Zach as well.
Hey, here we go. We're gonna get a hat like that. That's sweet. I'm Zach.
I'm Eleanor. Is this on? Yeah, so we're not all just Colleen. There's more than just Colleen, but she's pretty wonderful. So
Hey, Colleen.
we're also not quite doing a skit. We're gonna talk to you guys about a word.
So today we're talking about the etymology of the word vagina. Just an FYI, there will be some vulgar words used, so some young children and people who may get uncomfortable, feel free to leave, that's fine with us.
Sorry, Mom.
And we also recognize that not all women have vaginas, so we would just like to note that, but you know, the words that we use for vaginas have really played a huge role in how we view women in history. So really quick, what are some words that you guys use to describe a vagina? Just yell it out.
Come on, I know you guys know words that you have used to describe a vagina. Like when I was little, we never called it a vagina, it was a foofy.
So what are some other words?
What are some words, kids? Let's hear them.
Pussy.
Pussy, that's one.
Like that.
Labia, that's correct. One a little bit closer. Anyone else? Come on. What are some
Don't
words?
be shy.
The C word. We will talk a little bit about the C word.
All right.
Gucci snorcher. So yeah, there's a lot, and I know the people who have not said one out loud, you've probably had this, like the word that you used when you were little, you weren't really sure what the word vagina was, it was kind of freaky to you.
Well, throughout history, the word vagina has long been buried under pseudonyms, starting in the year 1230 with the word cunt.
Cunt was the first used slang word for the vagina in literature.
So Jonathan Green, not John Green, like Fault in Our Stars author, not him, Jonathan Green, produced a series of timelines based on his comprehensive historical dictionary of slang, where he explored the many words used to describe the vagina from the 1200s to current literature. There's actually a really cool timeline online that you can go and see all the different words that have been used to describe the vagina.
So there are a lot of different kinds of words. Luckily, some of them are used to celebrate the vagina, such as belle chose, en français, that means a beautiful thing. And that was used in literature in 1386.
Others weren't so wonderful with words like leather and fish in 1538.
Roman mythology also had influence on what writers called the vagina in literature. In 1584, it was first referred to as the altar of Venus. Yeah. In 1591, it was called Venus's cradle, referencing the Roman goddess of love, sex, beauty, and fertility.
There were also some weirder ones, like Low Countries, Honeypot, Coney Burrow, Two-Leaved Gate, labia, I guess, maybe, and Poop in 1594.
And that just doesn't make sense. But in the 1600s, if you believe it or not, the words actually started to get more diverse. We have Bumble Peg, Tinderbox. I imagine that's where the name Tinder for that app got.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Milk Pail, that just doesn't feel right. Logs Pound, Tussie, Muzzy, Cunnyburrow, again referring to the word cunt, and Flapdoodle.
Flapdoodle's a good one, guys.
Sounds like a dance.
Yeah. The first reference to a cat was in the 1700s when the vagina was called pussy, followed by kitty. We also started describing vaginas in reference to penises, such as mouth that cannot bite, cockloft, cockpit, pleasure girth, nest in the bush, bottomless pit, and butterbox.
It really doesn't have anything to do with butter.
I know, I can't believe it.
The 1800s just started getting even weirder with phrases like Jack Nasty Face.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like a criminal. Nature's tufted treasure, not too bad. The thatched cottage, catch 'em all alive-o, which is weird. It actually says alive-o. The fly trap, the horse collar, the love crack, and the shagging machine. Yeah, baby.
And so finally you're moving into the 1900s, where you think it might get a little bit better. It didn't. It got a lot worse. So we're wrong. Here in the 1900s, we have rest and be thankful, that thing, twitch it, ham bone, ooh, this one's good, velvet lined meat grinder,
Good baby. Good baby.
Frog middle band.
mossy donut, and coffee grinder.
But wait, there's more. Still in the 1900s, we have a fish tank. Okay, parking lot, meringue-a-roo, Y-bone steak, and bacon sandwich. Bread box and breakfast of champions.
Where are my champions at?
So the 1900s was where the references to food began. Today you have plenty of cuisine-themed names like muffin, taco, clam chowder, yeast cake, whisker biscuit, twat waffle, Laffy Taffy, sticky bun, and roast beef.
That's the worst, roast beef. Do not call it roast beef.
No.
That's so good. And don't call roast beef vagina. Just to be fair. The references to food have caused an abundance of stress and lower self-esteem amongst women.
Recently, there has been a huge rise in labiaplasty in the United States and Europe. For those who don't know, labiaplasty is basically surgery to make your vagina look perfect. Women see their vagina and then refer to it in these negative, upsetting terms and food names. This, plus the perfect vagina that you see in the porn industry and even our biology books, has created a negative view of the vagina and what it's supposed to look like, thus raising the use of plastic surgery on your vagina.
Because I know growing up, I felt fine about my vagina. I know a lot of you women probably did too, but why did that change? Probably words like roast beef, probably porn images with the perfect vagina, because Photoshop doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So referring to vaginas by the technical term is actually a great thing. It helps women accept the vaginas as a body part, which, by the way, changes from woman to woman. So I really recommend you guys start using the word vagina.
The media also perpetuates the use of vagina slang terms. For example, Elliot Reed, a character from the popular sitcom Scrubs, is often depicted as a very insecure woman who is uncomfortable with using medical terms for words like vagina and penis. And in a particular episode, she's in danger of losing her job because she can't refer to it correctly in the medical field. And her friend Carla, who is another nurse, actually helps her get over that to be comfortable with saying the word vagina and penis in the workplace.
And we should really all be like Carla, and what she did is pretty much what we should all strive for, is just to refer to penis and vagina for exactly what they are. They're just body parts.
The lack of the use of the word vagina has huge impacts on how we view our genitalia and our bodies. To change this, we as a group, men and women, everyone on the face of the planet basically, need to begin using the word vagina and penis in everyday life, not as derogatory terms like, hey, you're a dick, or you're a pussy, which is never good, but rather as ways to describe your vagina and your body.
Exactly. So literature, everyday life, media, we need to start using words like vagina. We don't have to say coochie, twat, or anything related to fish ever. Ever.
Not a fish.
Ever. It's a vagina. It's that simple. Vagina. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Could we bring up the picture of the poster, please? Thank you. This is the time for us to say thank you to Alex Driehaus, who is the designer of this year's poster. Alex is a freshman photojournalism student from Cincinnati, but has spent the last few years living in Swaziland with her family. Alex is interested in documenting human interest stories, especially related to women's issues. She's currently taking a design class and enjoyed the new creative experience of creating our International Women's Day Festival. So we're very, very grateful for you. And we have a little bit of a certificate for you. And if you could take us through perhaps what you were thinking when you were designing the poster, that would be great. Yeah.
So for the design class I'm taking, we were told to design a poster for an event. And they specifically requested that we design a poster for the International Women's Day Festival. And I just tried to incorporate like a lot of different themes that I thought went with women, such as like the purple background, and the O in Women's Day is replaced by a women's symbol. And the outline of the woman is pretty generic, so you can like see any woman in that. That's about it.
Thank you, Alex, and congratulations. So next we have Ophelia Ajay Awa. Ophelia is from Ghana, West Africa, and is currently a junior and working toward earning a bachelor's degree in journalism. She seeks to uncover and correct societal errors through her stories to create the change we need as a people. She also seeks to make the world a better place for us all. She believes in hard work, commitment, perseverance, and service to God and mankind. Please welcome Ophelia.
I'm doing a presentation on a warrior queen mother in the Ashanti Kingdom. She's called Nanaya Santua. This is actually her. She is a gatekeeper of the, she's late, so she was a gatekeeper of the golden stool of the Ashanti Kingdom. Well, and that's the Ashanti Kingdom, the Ashanti Empire from 1701 to 1896. It has spread all over to currently Cote d'Ivoire and then going towards Sierra Leone and Senegal thereabouts. So that was how big it was between 1701 and 1896. Okay, the British, the Ashantis fought many wars with the British. Actually, Ghana is a British colony. It was called the Gold Coast at that time. So, but the main reason this war is very significant is the fact that, you see the picture on the right, that's the golden stool of the Ashanti Kingdom. It unites the Ashanti Kingdom, it's their power, it's everything about the Ashanti Kingdom revolves around the golden stool. And she was a gatekeeper, so she had the right, the privilege to protect it no matter what happens. Okay, the golden stool was conjured from the skies by this man called Komfanochi. Actually, he was a fetish priest who didn't come from the empire, came from another region. He conjured this, and then it landed right on the laps of the king at that time called Otumfo Opokuwari the First. So this is Otumfo Opokuwari II. This is him with a golden stool. It comes out once in about 10 years. Nobody really sees it. And you understand, nobody is supposed to see it unless some rituals and other rites are performed before the golden stool comes out. So, on this occasion, it was time for the golden stool to be out, and that was the celebration. Okay, in our language, the golden stool is called Sikaja, which means gold is money. So money in my language is Sika. So golden stool, and then it's called Sikaja. The governor at the time, called Sir William Edward Maxwell, demanded the golden stool because they had fought and defeated the Ashantis, who were kind of the warriors or the main kingdom warriors for the entire nation. So they had defeated them, so they demanded for the golden stool, which means they had the authority over the area. So he made the demand. They gave him a fake one actually. He was so happy. He took it back to the queen in England. They got there and they realized it was fake. Actually, the golden stool is made of pure gold. Nobody knows where it came from. It was conjured from the skies, made of pure gold. And then he wanted it and take it back to England. So they gave him a fake one actually, and he was happy. He came back demanding the original golden stool. He didn't last. He died. And then Sir Frederick Mitchell Hudson came back to succeed him, and he also made a demand of the golden stool. He said, "What must I do to the man, whoever he is, who has failed to give to the queen, who is a paramount power in the country, the stool to which she is entitled? Where is the golden stool? Why am I not sitting on the golden stool at this moment? I am the representative of the paramount power in this country. Why have you relegated me to this chair? Why did you not take the opportunity of my coming to Kumasi to bring the golden stool and give it to me to sit upon?" So this was the demand that he made to be given the golden stool and give it to Queen Victoria of England at that time. Meanwhile, before he could do this, they had arrested the king who was in power, called Prempeh I. That is the man and his family. They were all arrested, they were taken to Sierra Leone, were in exile, and later they were transferred onto Seychelles Island. So at that time, the kingdom had no kind of leader. And to be a leader of that kingdom, you have to be a warrior. So which means the leader was not around, the lead warrior is not around. So they felt they could just go over and then take whatever that they wanted from the kingdom, because they had a lot of resources, which most countries or most states or empires didn't have at the time. So this woman at the meeting, when the man made the demand, woke up and said very angrily, she said, "Now, I have seen that some of you fear to go forward to fight for our king. If it were in the brave days of Osei, Komfanochi and Opokuwari," referring to the previous leaders, "leaders would not sit down to see their king taken away without firing a shot," and indeed she fired a shot. "No white man could have dared to speak to a leader of the Ashanti in this way the governor spoke to you this morning. Is it true that the bravery of the Ashanti is no more? I cannot believe it. It cannot be. I must say this, if you, the men of Ashanti, will not go forward, then we the women will. I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight the white men. We will fight till the last of us falls in the battlefields." So she declared war. This is actually called a declaration of war. She declared war, and then they went on to fight the war. About 5,000 people followed. It was fought between 1900 and then 1901. The picture on the far right is actually the garment she wore to the war. That was the picture. That was how she was looking, actually. And this is her being the gatekeeper of the golden stool. Because she fired a shot and showed some kind of power, she usually had this gun with her being the gatekeeper of the golden stool, like kind of sitting there to protect the golden stool. So this is her. Between 1840 and 1920. That was when she was born. She lived within this period. So what happened after that was that that is a golden stool on the left and then on the right as well. The British defeated the kingdom, but they did not get the golden stool. So to that, the British and the Ashantis feel, well, the main reason for this war was to get a golden stool, but you guys didn't get it, so we won. and we are the victors. And that war was led by that woman we saw, Nana Asantua. She ran away after the war. All the people who joined her in the war were arrested and sent into exile. Her only daughter was arrested in place of her because they couldn't find her. She later on came back, surrendered that they should take her instead of her daughter. She was taken to Seychelles Island. She died over there. So that's the boarding stool. The curved seat is 46 centimeters high with a platform, 61 centimeters wide and 10 centimeters deep. It is made of pure gold. So this is what she fought for, and it still remains in the kingdom of the Ashanti. Currently, it's called Ghana, a country on the West African coast. The golden stool is still there, and Ashantis were the victors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ophelia, for your presentation. We will now have the International Fashion Show and moderated by Dr. Susanna Gutzel.
Thank you, Giovanni. The International Fashion Show is always, I think, one of the highlights of International Women's Day. And this year we have brought together women that are both real and women that are fantastic and women that are figments of our imagination. So please join me in welcoming 9 women from across the world who will be modeling their clothes for us. And we will begin with Sarah Tucker Jenkins, the program coordinator for the Women's Center. She's wearing a homemade Wonder Woman costume. Wonder Woman is an iconic American feminist heroine. Her character is a warrior princess of the Amazons and is also known as Princess Diana. Her secret identity is Diana Prince. Wonder Woman first appeared in comics in 1941. She was immortalized by Linda Carter in the Wonder Woman TV series in the 1970s. Next is Jennifer, who is wearing a recreation of an Italian Renaissance noblewoman's dress. During the Renaissance, the gold and purple would have indicated high status, potentially even that of royalty. The sleeves, skirt, and bodice were detachable, which allowed the dress to function as multiple garments simply by changing out one part of it, which helped create an impression of plenty, which was important for social mobility and prestige. Alma is wearing a traditional German outfit called a dirndl. A dirndl is a long traditional dress people are most likely to wear in the south of Germany, but also in everyday life. Once a year, there's a big event in Bavaria, a state in Germany, most notably in the city of Munich, called Oktoberfest, where people come from all over the world to enjoy beer and traditional culture. Oktoberfest goes for almost 1 month. Dirndl and lederhosen are must-have for this event. Precious from Nigeria is wearing a traditional Nigerian outfit. It is made out of lace, a fabric commonly used by women for its lovely and feminine appearance. This outfit is the typical traditional wear of women from the Yoruba tribe and is worn to special events and parties. The headdress is made of damask and is wrapped around the hair in the traditional fashion. Nene is wearing a casual Burmese cloth made of cotton. Because the weather in Burma is extremely hot, she's also wearing tanaka on her face to protect from the heat. Tanaka is made from ground bark and is 100% natural. People, both men and women, in Burma wear it every day. Ofa is wearing a Ghanaian dress made from wax print material that is commonly selected by the wearer before the dress is made. It represents a flexible pattern and fabric for semi-formal events, such as a birthday party or a baby shower. A dress in this type of material is common in the modern Ghanaian woman's closet. Angelica is wearing a barong atsaya, the official national costume of Filipino women. The barong is the top blouse. The saya is the skirt. These items are typically worn during formal events such as weddings, but are also worn during cultural performances. These pieces are symbolic of Filipino cultural heritage. Is wearing a kebaya. It is a traditional blouse dress combination that originates from Indonesia. It is sometimes made from sheer material such as silk, thin cotton, or semi-transparent rayon adorned with brocade. She's also wearing a sarong or batik kain panjang. Is wearing a classic Ukrainian dress from Midland, Ukraine and the Dnieper River. Ukraine is the largest country in Europe. It gained independence in 1991. Ukraine's religious views inspired the embroidery for the dress, which was believed to have magical powers. Every shirt is homemade by women. Who was dressed as Margaret Boyd, the first female graduate of Ohio University. Margaret Boyd graduated from OU in the class of 1873. For 3 years, Margaret was the only woman among all men. Maggie showed the maturity, grit, and desire to convince the faculty that she was worthy of attending and being a graduate from the university. Maggie also earned a Master's of Arts degree in 1876. During her time here, Maggie recorded her thoughts in the diary that Madeline is carrying. Madeline Torney is a member of the inaugural Margaret Boyd Scholars Cohort. Angelica, Mariska, Anastasia, and Madeline. Thank you.
Up next, we will have the Sisters of Solemn, led by Ellie Owen, an OU alumni, class of 1999. She's an it's an Athens-based belly dance troupe that strives to honor, celebrate, and empower all women through fused cultural rhythms and dance. Members of this performance include, along with Ellie, Metro Pedersen, OU class of '82, Nadine Burrow-Viska, and Liz Tompkins, OU class of 2006. Please welcome Sisters of Salam.